Series versus the Tigers, but they failed to get the sweep. And look, maybe if it had been different and the Yankees lost the first game, won the next two, the tone would change, but this is what it should be. And the Yankees, they did this a lot last season. They've already done it twice this year, where with chances to sweep against the Red Sox, failed to do so, and that was acceptable at the time. Fine. This one against the Tigers, after you lost series to the Orioles, get the sweep against Detroit. And the offense continues to do absolutely fucking nothing, just in all regards, whether it be just not scoring runs, not coming through in the clutch. But this was just, it reminds me of last season, especially early, where it was a getaway day, going for the sweep, day game, like that third, it's Montgomery on the mound. Like, I feel like we've seen this combination play out numerous times. Montgomery gets no run support. You got to have that killer instinct, but that might be taking them off the hook. It's just not being capable of getting it done, right? It's not like, we just want to flip the switch. It's like they're trying. They're just simply not that great. The pitching has been phenomenal, except Garrett Cole. We'll talk about that. Cole, has easily been the Yankees' worst pitcher. It's not even really close. Kudos to the rest of the pitching staff that's done a great job. And this offense just continues to do nothing. And they're not even hitting home runs. Like, they're supposed to be a team that hits home runs. That's not even happening. So where do we begin? I guess we have to start with Joey Gallo. Why Brian Cashman ever thought it was a smart idea to trade for this guy is mind-boggling. Like, in the same trade deadline where he gets Anthony Rizzo, which is a sensible move and moving away from the strikeouts and going more towards contact, he also trades for Joey Gallo. Why? Why would you do that? And this is someone who clearly is not made for New York. Clearly, I mean, the guy definitely has some sort of issues, which, look, I'm not going to get on him for that, but his temperament and his mentality is certainly not suited for New York. No way. It's that combined with the type of player he is. This guy strikes out so much. In a best case scenario, he'll bat 220. It's in a best case. So there's that. I want him on the bench regularly. And that should happen. I shouldn't say regularly, but he's one of the guys that should be on the bench rotating. The other guy, Gleyber Torres. I know Gleyber Torres had an infield hit today. Gleyber Torres, the player that we saw in 2018 and 2019, is gone. He's gone, and he's not coming back. You can think whatever you want. You can wish whatever you want. He is in the past. His body's still here. He's not the same player. So Gleyber Torres, another player I want on that bench rotation. I want those two. I said it last episode. They need to be rotating on the bench. And they're not the only ones that aren't getting it done. Like, let's make that clear. But out of everyone, they should easily be on the bench. Let's talk about other players that are struggling. Giancarlo Stanton is so goddamn streaky. It's insane. When he is on, he can win ball games on his own. When he is off, he looks like one of the worst players in the game. I think right now he's at about one walk and maybe 20 strikeouts. It might be maybe 19 or 20 strikeouts. That's the ratio. Striking out a ton and not walking really at all once. That's unacceptable. So Stanton, who we can fall in love with him when he does well, but then when he does poorly, it really reminds you of the times that he's bad. That's just not good. Josh Donaldson, it's been a struggle. Hopefully that pinch hit double today gets him going. But for Josh Donaldson, it's been a struggle. And so he is deserving of being in that bench mix. I still think, Gleyber is lower on my totem pole than Josh Donaldson, no doubt. But still, it's worth mentioning. And, Aaron Judge, it's been underwhelming. Aaron Judge, it's been absolutely underwhelming. What does he have? Maybe 2 RBIs on the season? That's just not going to get it done. So he needs to pick up his game. But someone who else, how could I not have mentioned it at this point, is Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks, who has one of the best numbers on the team, cannot get the job done when it needs to get done. Runners on third, less than 2 outs. The guy simply won't get it, especially as a lefty. He's just not going to get the run in. It's just not going to happen. Like, how many times, Aaron, hit a fly ball. Hit a fucking fly ball. And also, his fielding defensively, it's not that special. It's not that special. He's not some great center fielder. I'm not impressed. And maybe on that Austin Meadows bloop hit, maybe you could blame it on just the positioning and not Hicks himself, but I don't know. Look, it's hard to, and that's why I didn't bring him up until now, because he is having one of the better seasons on the team, but oh my God, does he not come through when it counts? Whoa. It is insane. So Yankees win the series, but it certainly doesn't feel that way. And, look, they're doing what they do. And it's to the extremes now. The pitching is even better than it had been, and the hitting is even worse than it had been. So the Yankees are going to get their wins. It's just, it feels like the same old stuff. And look, would fans of, let's just throw the Pirates out there, or, the Baltimore Orioles, seems like that. Like, would they, I mean, Yankee fans on one hand could sound a certain way, but when it happens so frequently year after year, fans have every reason to complain and be upset. And I know it's early in the season, but this is going to be a continuation. It just is. They'll be in that playoff hunt. They will be. There's enough there that they will be. And the weather will get warmer. They'll start hitting home runs, but I don't know. It's just not good enough. But speaking of not good enough, Garrett Cole. Just an absolute joke of an outing. We don't usually see him lose command like this. He walked 5 in an inning and 2/3. I believe that was the shortest outing of his career. Just, you can't have that. You cannot have that. And everyone else after him was amazing, specifically Clark Schmidt. So the Yanks, they get a couple of early runs, keeping in mind Gleyber Torres was on the bench for this one, as expected. And the Yankees get a couple of very fortunate runs early, as with the bases loaded, Josh Donaldson skies bases loaded, hits a pop-up to the catcher in fair territory, and the catcher bobbles it. Then the pitcher, Tyler Alexander, it goes in his glove. He drops it. It's an error that scores 2 runs. And so the Yankees get very fortunate to get that right there. Cole pitches a decent spot in the first, but then it's a very long top of the second, one in which the Yankees do get a run. And it actually was Aaron Hicks who did get a sac fly. Kiner-Falefa, who is a big-time positive this series. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, as I had said, he might have been pressing first week as a Yankee. Give him some time, and he's doing pretty well now in the field and at the dish, at the plate, I should say. And Kiner-Falefa was able to get a walk, steal second. He goes to third on a wild pitch, and Hicks does get a sac fly. This was a very long inning for Cole, and then the floodgates open in the second, and he didn't make it out of there. Miguel Cabrera singles. We'll just get this out the way right here. Cabrera came very close to getting to 3,000, and had a 3-hit game in game 2. But the Yankees ended up holding him off. So that was the one positive Miguel Cabrera in that last game, was that Miguel Cabrera did not get 3,000 hits against the Yankees. But for Cole, just a mess of a second inning. Had a really long at-bat with Willie Castro, a 11-pitch at-bat, which resulted in a walk that scored a run, bases loaded walk. Then Robbie Grossman gets a sac fly, makes it 3-2. Then Austin Meadows walks, and that was be it. Clark Schmidt comes into a tough situation, and give him credit. It was 3-2. It was bases loaded. He gets out of that inning, and then pitches another 3 scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts for Clark Schmidt. Maybe, Clark, he is someone that is finally developing. He's old, for prospects, he's older. I think Clark Schmidt might already be 26 years old, but he's always been highly touted. Injuries have been a problem, and so it was good to see him really step up. And the bullpen did a very, very good job, as it has for the most part all season. Wandy Peralta does his thing. An inning in the third. Clay Holmes, who is arguably the Yankees' best reliever. I would go as far as to say Clay Holmes is their best. While it wasn't a pretty inning, he gets it done. And then Miguel Castro pitches a scoreless 8th. So the Yankees are up 3-2, but they get a key insurance run of the 9th. And this was a walk by Hicks, steals second. The Yankees were stealing, and I like that. There was more aggressiveness from the Yanks on the base paths, and that will help. So there's something to be happy about. And that happened a lot in game 1 and 2. And so eventually Rizzo walks, and it leads to a first and second 2-out situation where DJ LeMahieu, opposite field RBI single, a very key insurance run to give the Yankees a 4-2 lead. LeMahieu has been one of the bright spots as well. He looks more like himself, and we're seeing that hard line drives to the right side, and that's a good sign. So the Yankees make it 4-2, and then Aroldis Chapman, he's one of those guys, you know right away what you're going to get, and he looked good right away, and so he had a 1-2-3 inning, and so that's a good sign for Chapman, but he can kind of lose it at any moment. So I'm not sure how much that says, but the Yankees get that 4-2 win. Bullpen, amazing job. Cole, awful job. And so Garrett Cole is going to need to turn it around against Cleveland on Sunday. Otherwise, he is going to get booed out of the stadium. If he does not perform against Cleveland on Sunday, I promise you, the Yankee fans will not be happy. And they shouldn't be. So we go to game 2, and this was a pretty good game for the Yanks. The offense wasn't great. They only had 6 hits, but a little bit more effective. Whereas I should mention, in game 1, the Yanks were like 1 for 13 runners to scoring, but something really, really bad. LeMahieu gets that hit. They Rofer had numerous chances to break the game open and didn't. That was really bad. Whereas in game 2, a little bit, not really, they went 2 for 9, not great either, but a little bit better. And the catalysts were Rizzo and Kiner-Falefa. Those were definitely the key players in this one. And Severino, look, where Cole couldn't figure it out, Severino, he didn't pitch great, but he was able to go 5 innings and give up 1 run. So Severino, he battled. He really did. The second inning was tough. Second inning, the Tigers do score. And not only did they score at this point, what was key was Miguel Cabrera gets thrown in at third by Giancarlo Stanton. So Stanton in the outfield, you don't lose anything. So that's the good thing about Stanton is he should be playing more in right field, and it just helps instead of clogging up that DH spot. But Severino fortunate in that inning. There was a caught stealing as well. So, but he's able to kind of just settle in. And the Yankees have a good response in the top of the third after the Tigers take the lead, and Kiner-Falefa gets a leadoff double. Higashioka walks, Hicks lines out, and Aaron Judge gets a big RBI double to make it 1-1. And then Anthony Rizzo gets an RBI ground out to give the Yankees a 2-1 lead. Severino is able to pitch a scoreless third. In the fourth, gets into some trouble, but is able to wiggle out of it, getting Harold Castro to line out and then Tucker Barnhart to strike out. Severino was pumped up. He was really, and that's what you get from Severino is that passion. And then he pitches a really good 5th inning. So he is in line for the win. And to even help that cause, Anthony Rizzo homers in the 6th. It's been out of everything, Anthony Rizzo, it's been a mostly good year for Rizzo. He has been another one of those few good bright spots on this team offensively, and the Yankees take a 3-1 lead, but Chad Green struggles. And to be fair, Chad Green had been good up until this point, but he cost Severino the win as Harold Castro with 2 outs gets a 2-run double to tie it up at 3. I should also mention Joey Gallo was on the bench for this one against the lefty Eduardo Rodriguez in the 7th. It's a leadoff walk for Donaldson as Rodriguez is out of the game. Well, Castro pinch runs for Donaldson, and Gleyber Torres bunts, just a sign of not being confident, but it works out as there's a throwing error by the pitcher Hutchison, and it ends up leading to a 1st and 3rd situation, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with the big hit to give the Yankees the lead, and it's 4-3. Then Higashioka bunts, which to me at 1st and 2nd, which with Hicks coming up, you shouldn't do it. And Aaron Hicks doesn't get, it's a shallow fly ball. He does not get the run in. And then Aaron Judge grounds out. So it stays at 4-3. Loaizaga, who has struggled recently, pitches a good 7th. So that was good. And then in the 8th, the Yanks score another run. It's a Rizzo double and a steal by Rizzo. So there's, again, that aggressiveness with the steals is a good thing. But then Giancarlo Stanton strikes out. Not good. But DJ LeMahieu was able to make contact and get the run in as Rizzo would score on a fielder's choice. LeMahieu grounds out to first. It works. Again, contact there is helpful. And so the Yankees take a 5-3 lead. Clay Holmes comes out of the 8th, pitches really well, gets a couple of strikeouts at a 1-2-3 8th. And then the 9th, Chapman, another night, and another successful save. So good job by Chapman. Yankees take the 2-0 lead in the series. They win the series at that point, but then we head to the last game and they get shut out. Just not good. No Gleyber, no Donaldson, which I had no problem with. Donaldson's out as well as Marwin Gonzalez, who hasn't played much, is in for him. Donaldson had bad numbers off of a former Yankee, Michael Pineda. So I understand why that happened. He would come in and get a pinch hit double, but that's kind of where it was at. And Miguel Cabrera, the big story being Miguel Cabrera going for 3,000. He was unsuccessful in getting that. And the Yankees, had some key chances and didn't convert. Let's just jump straight to the bottom of the third where the Tigers score. Leadoff single, Willie Castro, bit of a bloop hit. And eventually, a couple batters later, a Robbie Grossman RBI double, a play where Joey Gallo, if he cuts it off, it's probably second and third, but he can't cut it off, and the run scores. So Gallo, who's supposed to be this great fielder, I'm not exactly seeing that either since he's been a Yankee. So that makes it 1-0 Tigers. The Yankees would have a chance in the fifth. Leadoff single LeMahieu. Then, of course, Gallo pops out. Kiner-Falefa single on a hit and run. But Marwin Gonzalez does not get the job done. It's too shallow of a fly ball. I might have had LeMahieu run and try to score from third. Grossman was kind of at an awkward angle. I would have given it a shot. They don't. And then, of course, Trevino hits a deep fly ball after that. If Gonzalez had done what Trevino did, we're looking at a tie game. Doesn't happen. Then in the... let's go to the eighth. Montgomery pitches 6 scoreless innings. Castro pitches a good 7th. In the 8th is really the key inning. Donaldson pinch hit double for Marwin Gonzalez. Then Gleyber pinch hits for Trevino, which I didn't really agree with, and Gleyber gets a little lucky. He hits an infield single. It was a nice play with Willie Castro to keep it in the infield. Otherwise, the pinch runner, Lo Castro, might have scored. It does make a difference as Aaron Hicks pops out. He pops out. That was the key batter right there. Hicks fucks up again in that situation. Then Judge walks. And then they bring in the lefty Soto to face Rizzo. And Rizzo taps out to the pitcher Soto. They get Lo Castro out at home. And then Stanton grounds out with the bases loaded. And that's it right there. And so it's 1-0 Tigers. Just awful, awful job by the Yankees. Miguel Castro starts the 8th. Not sure I would do that. Some of these guys are 1-inning pitchers, Castro included. And Castro starts that 8th. It's leadoff double for Victor Reyes. Then it's an infield single on a play where Castro can't come up with it from Robbie Grossman. Scope walks, and they bring Licky into a bases loaded situation. He does a good job of getting Candelario to hit a double play. Cabrera is intentionally walked. Absolutely the right move. I don't care about 3,000 hits. It's the right thing to do. And Licky versus Austin Meadows, lefty-lefty, and Meadows is able to dunk in a 2-run double where Hicks was playing way too deep and couldn't make the play. And it's a 3-0 Tiger lead. Yankees don't score in the ninth. They get shut out, and that's it. So the Yankees, it is frustrating that they win the series, but they don't get the sweep, and the Yankees offense is just absolutely a joke, completely anemic. Just any way you look at it, it's awful. And I don't really think it's going to change in a drastic way. Could they go on a home run binge? Yeah, I could see that definitely happening. But just in terms of playing, the runners in scoring position stuff, just the overall malaise, the lack of a killer instinct in terms of getting sweeps, it's all things we've seen because nothing has fucking changed. But status quo, Yankees win the series, but fail to get the sweep.